Well, hello, dear Barnabas friends. It's an absolute joy for me here from AE to greet you all, and also very especially to introduce my dear and wonderful friend, Karabo Mokoape, who is the new chairman of AE South Africa and the acting team leader of AE at this time, while we are still tying up the process of finding the new person. It's really a joy to connect to you. I apologize that it's been difficult for numbers of reasons of commitment and health to travel around the country as I did before. But I praise God for the way you've all turned out, for those who stood in for me and who are carrying the work forward. I hope, Lord willing, to stay part of the Barnabas process, and by God's grace, maybe next year visit the groups again. But Karabo has a great vision, and our AE board, for carrying the Barnabas Ministry forwards, so that it's not just, ending up being a series of happy little gatherings with Michael over 3 or 4 years, but rather that it would create a basis for ongoing mission in South Africa. When Jesus discipled people and worked with people and mentored people, he then sent them out on mission. He gave them a task. And while I know that every one of you probably in the Barnabas group is already a very, very busy person, but I think there's still something that can be done out of the Barnabas groups together, and which should be done. And our South African board has taken the Barnabas Ministry now under its wing as an AA ministry. And I think what I'd like Karabo to do is to just share some of his own thoughts and vision in carrying this forward. So my dear brother, over to you.
Thank you so much, Michael, and it's a great pleasure to have this opportunity to say hello to all of you. As a Barnabas participant myself for many years in the Durban group, I've not had the pleasure and the privilege of traveling to meet all the rest of you around the country, but I've heard a great deal about all of you and your many great exploits, both within the ministry and in your other endeavors. I'm super excited that Barnabas lives on. And I think as part of my taking on these responsibilities at AE, the very first thing that I prioritized was the need to ensure that Barnabas would live on, it would survive, that it would flourish, that it would grow, that it would expand its influence and its reach, and that it would continue to be a blessing to all of us as members of the various groups. So I thank you for the support you've given the ministry to this point, and I ask you to continue to support this ministry for the years to come. But the question is why? Why would you remain? Why would you stay on, even as Michael perhaps is not as engaged as he was in earlier times? I think the answer to my mind is simple. I see Barnabas as a platform for iron to sharpen iron. And knowing who you all are as members of this group, all of you capable, all of you competent, all of you qualified, all of you people in authority in the kingdom, in the workplace, in the church, I understand the loneliness that comes with leadership and responsibility. And I know the need and the hunger that I have, and therefore that I believe that you have, to have a place where you can meet and engage with like-minded leaders who share this faith in Jesus Christ, for you to be encouraged, for you to grow in your knowledge and understanding, for you to find a safe place to be vulnerable with other people who understand the burdens that you carry. And I see Barnabas as that place. And I hope that in so doing, that it will be a valuable space that is worth seeking out, that is worth making time and space for in your life, as we try, all of us, each one of us, to grow in faith, to grow in stature, to grow in authority, and to be a blessing to the nation that God has placed us in. Because this is the second great purpose that I see within Barnabas, is that it's a place where we can convene as Christian leaders from around the country to apply our minds and to apply our faith to the great and deep and prevailing challenges in our country, where we can seek the Lord for a godly perspective on poverty, for a godly perspective on income inequality, for a godly perspective on injustice, for a godly perspective on the economy, for a godly perspective on governance, for God's kingdom perspective on all of these things, so that we, as the church, with a capital C, can regain our place and regain our mandate as advocates for God's kingdom coming on earth today. So I hope that if we keep the Barnabas Ministry alive and strong and vibrant, that one, that we ourselves can grow, sharpened as we are by each other, and two, that we can put our minds and our efforts together in unison to lead the church as it grapples with bringing God's kingdom on earth today. So I really hope that you will choose to remain with us, that you will choose to remain engaged, that you will choose to remain a part of our ongoing activities. The things to expect going forward are more quarterly meetings of the kind that you've grown accustomed to which we'll be inviting a number of eminent speakers to engage with us and to challenge us and to help us grow in various ways, people of Michael's stature. Secondly, you will have noted that we've already started pushing more and more enriching content and material your direction, interesting articles on various subjects related to the church and society. And we hope that you'll find these enriching, that you'll find them empowering, and that they will give you the tools, the mental tools, to understand the world around you and to act in effective ways. Beyond that, there are many other exciting plans which we hope to bring you in the fullness of time. But we beg you to choose to be a part of what God is doing through the Barnabas Ministry. And we're really excited to see where God takes us in the weeks and months and years to come. I look forward to meeting all of you as I travel around the country at various times, and look forward to seeing what God can do through us all. Before we conclude, I'll just hand back to Bob Michael for him to give us a couple of closing thoughts.
Thank you. Well, I want to tell you, friends, if ever there's a visionary in South Africa, it's this guy. And he has an extraordinary past in history and qualifications. And he is a visionary. He has a capacity as a businessman to drive things, to make them happen. And he has a passion for South Africa. And I think that's what we really want you to continue to engage in. I just think maybe I'd add one little thing, Karabo, if I could, from my side. Some of you may know that John Took, one of my long-standing colleagues, led to launch into a project called the Michael Cassidy and Friends Legacy Project. This will be an active on-site website to which everything, certainly that I have ever written, and probably a high percentage of my sermons, will all be located. It will not just be populated with my material of write articles and books and so forth, but also with, and I'm very excited about this, with friends, the ministries of people who've traveled with us, been part of our own ministry over 30, 40 years or so. And so, in fact, I'm more excited about the friends part than my own. And to give access for you through the ministries of people and teachings of people like Billy Graham, John Stott, Francis Schaeffer, Festo Coventry, Chuck Colson, and numerous others. And the best of their materials will be on this website. I think it's going to be a great resource, beloved brothers and sisters, for you too. When some of us are all 6 feet under the sod, you will be able to go and draw on those materials, study materials, preaching materials, lecture materials, hopefully inspirational materials, motivational materials for mission, and so on. And I want, very particularly, part of my legacy to have Barnabas embrace and use the MC and Friends Legacy website. I'd like to think you'd be blessed in doing so. I'm sure you really enjoyed hearing from my brother here. He is a tremendous brother and a wonderful friend. And you will certainly be blessed and inspired going forward. It would not only gratify me, it would humble me and honor me if you guys hung in on the Barnabas process and carried it from its little beginnings to much greater heights in the future. Thank you so much.